Hello everybody, this is Zoe from No Safer Place, and wow, it has been such a long time since I said those words. I've been gone for a while because I had my wisdom teeth out. I was supposed to be fine within 3 days. I couldn't even open my mouth still after 2 weeks. It's now been 6 weeks and I am back. I haven't had any motivation to do videos for ages, and then I watched The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina Part 3 and I've got some thoughts. So stick around if you want to hear them because there are a lot of thoughts. So let's just jump straight into it. We knew that Sabrina would do pretty much anything to get Nick back from hell. So when season 3 pretty much went straight into her mission in getting Nick back, I was not surprised at all. I will be honest, I really did not like Nick in the first 2 series. I just thought he felt like a whole plot device. I just felt like he existed to be in this Sabrina love triangle. I didn't think he had much purpose apart from that. I didn't ship Sabrina at all. I know that is like a super controversial opinion, but I just didn't like it and wasn't a fan of him. I have always been a hardcore Sabrina and Harvey shipper from the original series of Sabrina from when I was a child and even up till now. So you can imagine my surprise when Nick in series 3 was my favourite character. He wasn't just a plot device anymore, he had a whole story going on and it was amazing. I will get my Nick rant out the way now because let me tell you, do I love him now? He's just everything. Just this wounded, vulnerable, pain-obsessed Nick, like, give me more. His acting was absolutely impeccable in this series. That scene in the woods with Sabrina when he's telling her what he went through and some of the specifics that happened to him when he was in hell. If you don't cry at that scene, you are heartless. It just killed me. But the fact that Sabrina went to hell for this guy, became the queen of hell for this guy, and he still cheated on her. It gives you hope for men in general, doesn't it? I love you, Nick, but that was not cool. But I do think they weren't suited as a couple. I now love them both individually, but just not together. And whilst we're talking about the whole romance thing and the love triangle, when Harvey couldn't wake Roz up with the whole true love's kiss thing when she was turned into stone, oh my god, I was loving it. Because his true love was someone else, it wasn't Roz. It really reminded me, if anyone's watched the original Sabrina, the episode where she's about to marry her fiance and she's trying to find out if she's made the right decision, and she goes inside her heart and she sees that her fiance is on this kind of like temporary stand and Harvey is just like full on got his own room and he's living there all cozy and happy. That is what that scene reminded me of, because just Sabrina and Harvey will forever just be soulmates in my opinion. And I know that is hugely controversial. And can we talk about Salem for a minute? I loved Salem in the original series and I was really kind of sad that he didn't talk and he wasn't really a main character in The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. But he was kind of there a lot in this series, and the fact that, you know, he never hisses at Harvey, he loves Harvey. It's just, Salem just is rooting for Harvey and Sabrina. He's a cat, I know, but he's a smart one. Just like really fast forwarding to the last episode, because I wrote 3 pages of notes on the last episode alone. My mind was completely fried. Never have I watched an episode of something where so much has happened. Everything that happened in that one episode could have been like a whole series long. There was that much going on in it. I know a lot of people didn't like the fact that it ended with 2 Sabrinas, but I actually thought that was a really clever idea. In my opinion, there's always been 2 sides to Sabrina. There's the one power-hungry one who isn't a goody two-shoes and longs for some evil in her life. And then there's this other family-friendly version of Sabrina, which is the one that was portrayed in the original series and the one that I think we think of when we think of Sabrina. And they are 2 completely distinct personalities, but I always felt like they were both part of her. So now that there's like 2 separate ones living these 2 separate lives, I flippin' loved that. What a plot twist. And please, can Caliban come out from the stone somehow and just be the Prince of Hell with Sabrina. Can they just like reign together? And wow, I loved Caliban. What an amazing character he was. I'm actually wearing Caliban on my cheeks right now. Not sure if you can see it in this lighting, but in the Sabrina palette there is a highlighter called Caliban, and yeah, I loved him, and I think him and evil Sabrina are perfect together. And then obviously Harvey is suited to the friendlier side of Sabrina, and Nick, well, I can have Nick. And talking of Nick, people think the way that it ended in the last episode that Nick and Prudence will get together, but I really don't think that's the case. I got real Harry and Hermione vibes from that scene. You know the scene where she sees Ron with Lavender, I think it is, and she goes and cries on Harry's shoulder? That's kind of the vibe that I got from them. Nothing sexual, just friends. I could be completely wrong. Little bit of a rant here. Faustus did not get the screen time that he deserves. I know he was such a huge character in the first 2 seasons, and I think that's why I missed him so much in this one. He's a character that I absolutely love to hate through and through. And even with the Dark Lord rocking about now, I still think that Faustus holds the #1 villain in the show, in my opinion. I know that the Dark Lord is all evil, but I still think Faustus is worse. Let me know your thoughts on that. I'm glad it ended on a cliffhanger for Faustus. I hope we've got more of him in the next series because I need it. Prudence and Ambrose, my OTP in this show. They are everything. Have you ever seen a more beautiful couple before? I look at them and my bisexuality is just quaking. The first few episodes with them traveling around the world, trying to find Faustus and kill him, I loved that. I need that as a spin-off series. I need a spin-off series with Ambrose and Prudence traveling around the world just kicking ass. That would be amazing. I felt like throughout the whole series, they were the only consistent thing. Everyone else was either on the rocks or something was happening to them, but just those two were so strong, and that is why the ending angered me so much. It literally went from, we're completely in love, we're having the time of our lives, to, let's break up. Like, why did you do that to us, Sabrina writers? That's just not cool. Talking of cute characters and characters that grew on me, let's talk about Theo. First relationship with Robin the Hobgoblin. Oh my god, they were so cute together. And that scene where they were on the Ferris wheel at the carnival, it was giving me real Love Simon vibes, and they are just the absolute cutest. And Dr. C and Hilda, oh, I love them. I really love Hilda. I felt like she had such a big arc in this series. I feel like she's always been overshadowed by other characters. And although she's had a few moments, I feel like Zelda has kind of taken most of the screen time. And wow, did she have her time to shine in this series. I thought the spider storyline was so good. So well thought out, so well acted. Thought it was brilliant. And I love the fact that she didn't tell anyone, because the way that she's always been presented is that she thinks of herself as secondary to everyone, and she feels like her feelings aren't important. And I think by the end of it, she realised that she is just as important as Zelda, as Sabrina, as Ambrose. And yeah, her arc was awesome. Revenge is sweet. And oh my god, her and Dr. C singing Sweeney Todd. Hilda as Mrs. Lovett. I didn't know that was something that I needed in my life, but I do. Sweeney Todd is one of my favourite musicals, so this was amazing. And I will just say, that is the only bit of music that I would have wanted in Sabrina. I hate this whole musical thing that they're trying to bring to it. I think Sabrina is so much better than that. It doesn't need it at all. It's good enough as it is. It doesn't need to be made into some dark version of Riverdale. No thank you. I didn't mind the songs like The Enchanted Lullaby, but when she was cheerleading and the songs in that, I was just not a fan at all. I found it really cringy. The quest for the Unholy Regalia. I loved that. It was such a good subplot. I feel like the subplots in this were actually better than the whole pagan thing that was going on throughout the whole series. I don't know if that's just me, but yeah, I loved that quest. I was so invested in it, and Caliban's wit and charm that he brought to it was just perfect. Especially for the character he was supposed to be playing. If I was to tell you what I thought a Prince of Hell would look like and how he would act, that is exactly how. I actually thought the aesthetic of Hell and all of the characters that were in it were absolutely perfect. all of the scenes that were set in hell were just absolutely brilliant. And I've got to say, the acting is getting better and better in every series. There are a few questionable moments in the first 2 series, especially the first one, but they're definitely all getting better and getting stronger. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that. The only thing I didn't like about Hell was that ending with Sabrina wearing the most awful outfit. She was looking like a 1500s queen and not like a queen of hell at all. But that is probably the only part of the wardrobe in the whole series that I didn't like. Everyone else was just on point. All of the cast always look insane, especially Nick's sex demon getup. That was particularly appealing. Ambrose, let's talk about Ambrose. He is like Sabrina's Jiminy Cricket in this series. He was in the first series and then he kind of lost that in the second, but he is back as her conscience in this one. And the amount of just so done he has for her in this series is absolutely hilarious. And just the funniest thing, just every time she goes to speak to him, there's something else and he's like, oh shit, here we go again. Lilith and Sabrina are just the ultimate team that I did not know I needed. Like, you can try to hide it, Wardwell, but we all know that you care. I'm saying Wardwell because obviously that's the body she forms into, but I shouldn't, because Wardwell's like a whole separate character in this series if you haven't seen it, and yeah, it's probably confusing me still calling her Wardwell. I have to give a special mention to Prudence in this series when Sabrina is ranting to Nick about how he cheated and how she did everything for him and how she deserves better than that. And Prudence is there just watching with just the most smuggest look on her face, like, yeah, Sabrina, you tell him, girl. I just completely felt that. That was just one of my favourite moments from the whole series. And while we're talking about Prudence, Dorcas is dead, Agatha is insane, and I can't help but think that the Weird Sisters were really done dirty this series. It's actually quite angered me. Dorcas's death was just completely overlooked. The fact that Agatha's just completely insane now was also overlooked. I just feel sorry for poor Prudence. And now she's lost Ambrose too. Like, what did Prudence do in this series to make the writers hate her? Because she has literally lost everything and everyone, and it's just heartbreaking as someone that absolutely adores her. Zelda and Mambo Marie, the couple we never knew we needed. I was picking up on those vibes when the scenes that they had were happening, and I really, really hoped that they would get together, and at the end I was just like, yes, finally. I feel like all the couples, apart from Prudence and Ambrose and Sabrina and Nick, everyone else was just like completely blissful and happily ever after, and those two were just completely fucked over. Just every character in this series in particular is just so well crafted. Like, even the pagans, who don't have a hell of a lot of screen time, but you either love them or you hate them. You have feelings about them, which I absolutely love. There's not just unnecessary characters that you don't care what happens to them. You're either rooting for them to live or rooting for them to die. And the old witches that came to help them fight when they started to lose their powers. Oh, I absolutely loved them. Pesta in particular, obviously Mambo Marie. I just thought they were brilliant. One couple I do hate, which will probably come as absolutely no surprise to you if you've watched the entirety of this video, is Roz and Harvey. I didn't mind Roz in the first series, but they've kind of just turned Roz into Harvey's girlfriend rather than Sabrina's friend. So like I felt that Nick was just a plot device and just there to be Sabrina's love interest in the first few series, that's how I feel that Roz has turned into, which is such a shame, because I thought she had so much potential in the first series with the cunning, and she had a proper storyline going on, but now I just feel like she's kind of lost herself. So yeah, I just feel like just leave Harvey, Roz, and just get your own storyline back, just like Nick did, because it's so much better. And I know that's an unpopular opinion, and whilst we're talking of unpopular opinions, I think Lilith should be made Queen of Hell, and that's that. I don't think it should be the Dark Lord. I don't think it should be Sabrina. I think it should be Lilith. Lilith with that crown on is just the most beautiful thing I have ever seen. I just think she'd be the best leader. She's just a true queen. I've been talking for so long and so much has happened in this series, but I don't even feel like I've even begun to explain anything that's happened. I feel like I've just scratched the surface. But to sum it up, Sabrina is no more. Ambrose is also no more. The Weird Sisters are no more. Caliban is in the stone, which I really hope he's not in the stone for very long because I want him back. There are 2 Sabrinas, an Earth Sabrina and a Hell Sabrina. Nick is no longer the Dark Lord. Faustus is just as flipping crazy as he was. Hilda's getting married. Zelda's got a girlfriend. Theo and Robin are cute as hell. So some things are pretty good in the world. Oh, and they've got their powers back, which is also a really good thing. But Sabrina has created a time paradox. So who the hell knows what's going to happen in part 4. But I am so excited to find out. I'll be honest, I just need more Nick. I never thought I would love that man as much as I do. Honestly, if you could have heard me in the first few series talk about how much I disliked him and how pointless I thought he was, but just something about him as the Dark Lord and something about him then being this wounded, vulnerable person, just, I love him. And I never usually wear blusher, but the blusher I'm wearing is called Nick Scratch, so I feel like I'm going to be wearing this every day. So those are my thoughts on series 3. Whilst I'm here and I've got the Sabrina palette, I'm going to show you it because it is flipping beautiful. I'm not sure if you can see, but I've got Ambrose on my eyes, I've got Half Witch on my lips, Nick Scratch on my cheeks and Caliban on my cheekbones, and nothing for Harvey because he was pretty irrelevant in this series. But yeah, look at this palette. How beautiful is it? I can't get over how stunning it is. Let me show you close up. Like, how beautiful is that? I just adore it. It was £35, but it was worth every penny. I've also got all the lipsticks here and the t-shirt. I'm a huge fan of Sabrina right now. It is actually one of my favourite TV series ever. I feel like as the series have gone on, they've got better and better, which I think is really rare. Usually the first series is the best, but I actually feel like they're getting better and better, and the storyline's getting better and better the more it goes on. So I'm so excited for part 4. They seem to be bringing them out every like 6 to 8 months, so I hope that continues because I need more right now. I'm so excited. Let me know your thoughts on series 3, if you enjoyed it, if you've even watched it yet. Let me know who your favourite characters are, what you're hoping for in series 4. Let's talk about Sabrina because I could do it all day. Also, one more thing, I designed a Sabrina bracelet. I run this small business called Wildest Dreams Jewellery, and I designed a bracelet around the chilling adventures of Sabrina, and I will leave it in the description box below if you want to go and check it out, because why wouldn't you need more Sabrina merch in your life? If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, comment, subscribe, all that usual good stuff. Also, you can turn on the notification bell to be notified when I upload new videos, which is usually every Tuesday and every Saturday. I'm hoping to get back into that now. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. Let me know what you would like to see more of on my channel, and I hope to see you all again soon. Thank you. Bye.